My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And we're back after our October hiatus. Yay! Welcome. We made it back. Jessie is still on hiatus because of her new job, but she will eventually be back, But, we're cool. So hopefully you stick around just for us three as well. So we were on a little bit of a hiatus for October, as I think we said in our last episode that we were going to be. And it was well needed, I think, by all of us, because we've been pumping out content pretty straightforward. Wait, how many years is that? 4 years! It's our 4-year anniversary. So if you've been here since the beginning, thank you for sticking around with us. And hopefully there'll be 4 more years. But who knows?
And if you're newer than that, there is a heck ton of content that you can go
there's
check
so
out.
much to catch up on. Like, if this is your first episode and you're like, wow, these ladies love them, gotta find out more. You're in luck. You friend, absolutely fabulous, because they're all on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube. They're everywhere.
And all the information is at certifiednoonas.com.
Our website. We got it all, friends. So, comrades, we're doing something. We're deciding to come back on sort of like ease it in with everyone's favorite episode. What the heck have we been watching? What have the Noonas been watching over the past month? Before we get into it, I just want to say, for anyone who follows my Twitter and encountered the actual depraved nonsense I put my mother through while I was at my mom's house last month, you're welcome. We didn't make it through Kin Porsche because she got very distracted by cherry magic. She's in love with Kurosawa and Itachi. She started calling them our boys.
Aww.
Can we watch that show with our boys, honey? So I was like, yes. For anyone who's not familiar with what I did with my mom, I started her watching Kin Porsche. We made it through 5 episodes. I told her absolutely nothing about the show's plot, characters, genre. I pretended like I'd never seen the show because I love playing these little cons on my mother. So she was probably the only person on earth who went into watching Kin Porsche knowing absolutely nothing about Kin Porsche, including the fact that it was gay. But she did catch on, but not as quickly as you would think. But at one point she turns to me and she says, honey, I think this show might be marketed to gay men. And I was like, Mama J, why would you say that, Mom? What would make you think that this is only marketed to gay men? And she goes, well, every single person on this is a beautiful man. And I was like, do you have a problem with beautiful men? Is that not something that we can enjoy? And she's like, no, I love beautiful men, but all of them? Anyway, she was catching on. She was catching on. Anyway, she also we watched all 20 episodes of Beautiful Gong Shim, a classic Nam Min-goon, which Mom gives 20 thumbs up. Big fan of Beautiful Gong Shim. Anyway, that's what I've been doing with Mom. So, Amanda, what is the show that you've been watching over this past month that we've been away?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, to just talking to the Noonas, I've been on a real big weekender kick. I finally have access again to It's Beautiful Now, so I'm trying to finish that up because I kind of lost it. I didn't have a Kokowa subscription, and over the summer and trailer weekends and stuff, I couldn't make that 24-hour free window, so I had to let it go. So I've been catching up on that. Love it. It's great. Everybody's adorable. I'm also watching currently airing weekender called Three Bold Siblings with Im Joo-won, and I can't remember her name right now, but the actress from Boys is the female lead. It's weird to be watching it at the same time as It's Beautiful Now, because I keep like crossing plot lines in my brain. So like something happens and I'll be like, oh no, get her to the doctor. And then I'm like, no, the doctor is in the other show. Like it, yeah. So, but Three Bold Siblings, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. It's not as good as It's Beautiful Now or, you know, some of the other, you know, it's not quite.
It's Beautiful Now is pretty good. Like
Ihana.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, yeehaw, what? Okay.
The actress's name.
The actress, yes. So, but it's good. It's just not great. But I am enjoying it. The basic plot is she is a doctor who they sort of set it up initially like she's kind of a feisty, you know, she gets in fights with the drunk patients in the ER kind of thing. Like, you know, she's all this, but then that goes away real fast. And she is just a mouse. Her dad died when she was little. Her mom remarried to a guy who is amazing, loves her to the moon, is an incredible father to her. But his mother was very unhappy that her darling son married a woman who had a kid. And when the younger siblings came along, she basically just continued to ignore the older daughter and poured all of her attention and energy into the younger two.
Definitely not toxic whatsoever.
No, and she's been terrible to the mother too, pretty much. But like the dad was having none of it. Like he was like, okay, well, Mom, if you don't like her, then that's fine. We'll leave. And he left his mother to run the family restaurant by herself when he's the cook. And he went and started like a place around the corner.
Listen, fuck around, find out. You know what I mean? Like,
so Mom quickly decided that she needed her son or else she was going to be on the street. So she welcomed this family in, and she's been even, but not nice, right? And so the mother has raised her oldest daughter like, don't get on grandma's nerves. Like, let's just, you know, so she's always given up everything for her younger siblings. And at one point, she had a best friend who became an actor. This is Im Joo-won's character. And he became an actor when they were around 20. They met up while she was at med school, and he was in like a medical drama, and they were filming at her med school, and they bumped into each other again. And he was like, he's always been in love with her since he was like 12. She's been his best friend and he's in love with her. And he's like, let's start dating. She's like, okay. And they start dating in secret and everything. They get caught. Like, this is all first episode information. They get caught. Her life gets completely trashed for, you know, how could you date Opa? She gets egged. She gets, you know, her sister winds up not being able to get, I mean, I think this is a bit of a stretch, but her sister can't get into college because she gets suspended from school for fighting because people come after her for being the sister of, you know, so she gets suspended from school during the time when you would,
you know, it's really funny because I feel like someone who's like unfamiliar with like netizen news would think like, oh my goodness, this is so ridiculous and over the top and fake, and yet us in the know being like,
yeah,
ripped straight from reality, this nonsense.
So unfortunately, like, the guy doesn't realize what she went through. He just thinks that they both chose to walk away because it wasn't the right time. And he does at one point try to find her and talk to her. And he comes to her dad, and her dad says to him, now is not the time, because it's been devastating to their whole family. Like, their business was getting, you know, bad, you know, all kinds of stuff. So he's like, now's not the time. If the two of you are meant to be together, your paths will cross again. You'll come back, you know.
Very Kierkegaardian.
So they're 40 now.
Wow, that was 20 years later.
Yeah. She's, and you go into this, her younger sister is engaged. Her younger brother is sort of pre-engaged. They're at the meeting where the two families get together to, you know, discuss stuff. And the younger sister's fiance, his family's like, now's not a good time to get married because he has to work so hard and commute so far and all this stuff. And the mom says, I know. Well, when they get married, they can move into the apartment that's close to his work. The apartment that my daughters live in. So, yeah. So the 40-year-old doctor sister is the one who pays for this apartment. She lets her little sister live there rent-free so that she can save up money for her wedding. And now she's been told, you're going to give up your apartment so that they can, and it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. She's like, you know what? I have been giving in for the last 35 years. I've given in to these people. I am done. She says, you know what? You can't have my apartment. And not only can you not have my apartment, y'all can't get married. Neither of you can get married until I get married. Because I'm the oldest. And them's the rules. And she stalks out. And they're like, what?
That is a good premise set up for a weekender, though.
Yeah. So, and I mean, to be fair, her brother is also a doctor, and he is like, as soon as his mom says it, he's like, Mom, no, no, it's her apartment. You can't give away her apartment. And she's like, no, it's fine. You're fine, right, honey? And she's like, no, I'm not fine. So then she's all upset. She's going home, and in the bus stop, she sees these posters. Her ex-boyfriend, the actor, has a side hobby of photography. He is releasing a photo book. And in this book, what he's using to promote are pictures of that beautiful weekend away that they took that completely ruined her life. And it's captioned with my beautiful memories or whatever. And she starts just ripping these posters down because for her, not so beautiful.
And is it obviously her, or is it more like you can't tell who it would be?
Can't. Nobody else would know it's her.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Because
she knows
if it was actually showing who it was, I would no. It's like from a distance, just the silhouettes from behind, but people. She knows she was there, right? Yeah.
Because for her, she's never been able to date since. When they got revealed by dispatch, it was leaving a hotel room. Her life, she's never been able to date since. That's part of the reason why she's still single at 40, is that every guy she has dated has either been trying to see what a celebrity, would have liked, wants to talk to her about what was it like, wants to become an actor, and are you still in touch with him? Can you get me
gross.
She has not been able to date a single guy who did not just think it would be cool to have sex with somebody that a celebrity had sex with or whatever, right?
Men are gross, men are gross, men are gross.
So she goes to his book signing and basically rips up a book and is like, beautiful memories, my ass, and and ta-da! That's the first weekend.
So who do you think, what type of drama watcher do you think would really enjoy this drama?
People who are into the typical family weekender. It's very, well, I don't think it's as top notch as It's Beautiful Now or Five Enough or My Father is Strange. It's in that vein. There's not a lot of matching yet. Anyway, the title Three Bold Siblings makes it sound like it would be more about the three siblings, and it so far hasn't really. They are all there, but it's very definitely the doctor who's the main character.
And how far along are you?
I think there's I'm right with it. I think there's 12 episodes out, and I've watched 12 episodes. It feels like a lot has been happening too. Every weekend there's a big, and you're like, oh, this is going to be there's a big scam plot, and somebody gets scammed out of $100,000, and you're like, holy crap, this is obviously going to be a big, and it's taken care of the next episode. And you're like, okay.
I thought they were going to milk this a little more. We got a lot of episodes to get through. This is a weekender.
Every weekend it feels like there is a new big plot, and then
it's just a little plot.
And everything's fine. And you're like, oh, okay.
Plot of the week, huh?
I assume you're going to keep watching it.
Yeah, I am.
It happens.
How long are the episodes?
An hour. They're not
standard weekender, yeah.
Just standard. Yeah. So, how about you, Natalia?
Well, I have been watching several things because I downloaded tons of stuff to watch at my mom's because my mom's house, up until this past week, my mom's house had what I like to call the best internet that 1999 could offer. But she has been brought into the modern world. So now every time I go home, we don't have to take a hiatus. I can actually record at my mother's house. She has faster internet than I do now. Anyway, but despite this, I still would like go out and use the next door neighbors because they got their Wi-Fi updated quicker than we got our Wi-Fi updated. Classic. And they gave us the password. So I would go out and I would steal their internet to like download an episode on Viki and then watch it, you know, because Viki has their like 2-day limit on downloads. So listen, I'm not going to.
We always have that.
I'm not going to rag on Viki today. Like, try my best. Anyway, so I started watching the Taiwanese show, My Tooth, Your Love, which is so endearing. And the two male leads on it, because it is a gay drama. So all the homophobes that for some reason listen to this very queer-friendly podcast,
feel free to let yourself
skip
out.
And don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. So it's about this really adorable, like he owns like a resto pub type thing, and he has like really bad insomnia, but not that he like can't sleep. It's just he can't sleep unless everything is perfect. And so he wears like earplugs and he has like 900 stuffed animals on his bed that he's named all of them. And this is not like, he's like 30. Like this is not like a young guy. Anyway, he lives with his sister and his sister is a doctor. And it starts out with him having a toothache. And his sister's like, oh no, like you got to go to the dentist. And he's like, no. I don't want to. No, I'm good. I don't want to go to the dentist. And she's like, shut up. I'm taking you to the dentist. In fact, I'm like friends with a dentist. So I'm going to take you to my friend, the dentist. So she like drags his ass over to the dentist and is like, hey, this is my little brother. He's terrified of the dentist. But he's got something fucked up in his mouth. Like, I need you to take a look at it. And the brother's like, no, it's okay. Like, I don't want to. Meanwhile, the dentist, who wears a mask the whole time, by the way. So, like, this guy never sees all of his face, just his eyes, is like, stop being a little bitch. I'm going to, come up. We're going to check it out. And he's like, yeah, you got a messed up wisdom tooth. Like, we got to take the swelling down and we got to remove that wisdom tooth after the swelling comes down. Blah, blah. And he's like, do we though? Do we? And he's like, yeah. We do. So anyway, meanwhile, the sister is like away on a business trip and the sister is like weirdly protective of her younger brother. So she's like, hey, like I never heard if my brother got home from work today. Like, will you go like check on him at his house? Like, here's where the key's hidden. Like, just let yourself in and like check on him. And the dentist is like, okay, weird ask, but sure, I guess if that'll get you to stop harassing me about your brother, I'll do it. And so, like, then, shenanigans. And then he finds out about all the cute stuffed animals.
Does she know that the, like, dentist is gay and she's trying to set them up? Because it's...
I don't really get that impression. Like, I don't really get that impression because apparently, like, the dentist had, like, this horrible ex. Like, he broke up in this horrible way and hasn't dated since. Anyway, the resto pub guy, there's also, like, people who work at his little pub who, like... take in this, like 20-year-old kid who's having problems with his stepdad and his mom because his stepdad hates him. And they're like, yeah, you can come work at the pub. And then, there's a little romance between the manager and something going on there. But it's like really endearing and
it's sweet.
It's like a sweet drama and, nothing like I'm on episode, like it's only like 5 episodes out, I think so far. And there's nothing really like spicy in it, but it's a Taiwanese drama, so I'm sure there'll be at least a little bit because Taiwanese dramas, they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, right?
Yeah.
There's the classic like, oh, you got drenched in the rain. I guess you'll have to stay at my house, and here's my clothes to wear. Like, oh, it's too rainy. You can't possibly leave that. I guess you'll have to stay over.
And Asian people melt in the rain. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh no, you have a slight cold. I guess I'll have to nurse you back to health
for a couple weeks.
Yeah, like, like it's totally totally fine for me to be doing dental work on someone I have a crush on. Don't worry about it. Like, and everyone in my office is very much aware. The only one who isn't is the guy getting his wisdom teeth removed. It's very adorable. The acting is wonderful. There's a delightful little cast of characters. It's very sweet, very well done. It's on Viki for anyone looking to watch it.
How many come out a week? Is it one a week?
One a week, which, let me tell you, I am suffering. I am suffering. And it just started on the 14th of October. And it's going all the way till the end of December. So I'm in it. It's also on WeTV if you use WeTV. I love it. I want more immediately. It feels like one of those dramas. So long as they don't biff it.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be one that I'll once I'll watch it as it's coming out. And then when it finishes, I'll start again from the beginning and then watch it all as a binge, one of those.
So what you're telling us is to wait and start it when it's done.
I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
So tonally, is it similar to Cherry Magic or Nay Sensei? Any of those tones?
Tonally, it's very similar to the History series.
Okay.
If you're familiar with those. So it's I would say tonally most similar to History 4 without that half of the plot. If you know, you know. It's it reminds me a lot of DNA Says I Love You, which is another great Taiwanese show that I do recommend. So it's got that sort of vibe, but it's it's adults. So these are all people with careers in their late 20s, early 30s. It's adult stuff. Even though it seems like he isn't, because the man has 900 stuffed animals that he sleeps with. But you can tell there's a trauma going on there, that it's not he's infantilized in any way. It's just there's a slight screw loose, and this is what he needs to cope,
That's fine.
That's fine. Listen, we don't judge. But anyway, it's really good. If you're in this for aesthetics, smoking hot, every single person on this show is a smoke show, really. Of course, right? As though actors on shows are unattractive. It's great. I really enjoy it. I'm really good. What about you, Sky? What have you been putting your eyeballs on?
So probably the main one I've been focused on the past month or two has been A Korean Odyssey. So I'm going to explain why I'm randomly picking up this show. I had picked up a long time ago and put it on hold forever ago. But so I want to say back in September, I was binging La Cafe. And then I got to the end of the episodes that were available at the moment, 8.
Yeah.
And since Lee Seung-gi is one of my favorite actors, I was okay. Do I have anything on hold that I haven't finished of his? And I have a couple, Vagabond's another example. But since it was pre-Halloween at the time, I was I think A Korean Odyssey feels that vibe right now.
Right? Yeah.
So I had already watched probably to episode 4 in the past, but I had to start over because I could remember some things, but as far as the tone and stuff, I couldn't remember.
I remembered nothing.
No, I remembered pretty much.
I remembered Willy Wonka outfit.
I remembered how the Monkey King got out of the jail, and that was pretty much it. Not much else. And that there were ghosts. So that's why I thought it would be a fun ghost show. So, and I've really been enjoying it. I will say the episodes are long, so do not think that they're short episodes.
No, they are pretty long, aren't they?
And even though it quite often is Ghost of the Week, mostly, and there are, of course, overarching themed plot throughout the show, but it's still, the episodes are very, very long, and a lot happens in each episode, to where if you watch 2 or 3 episodes in one sitting, you're I feel like I've watched an entire show because a lot has occurred. But I get a pretty big kick out of it, because if you don't know what it is, because now let's see, what year was this? 2017. It's really not that old, but for people who have come into the Asian drama fold like after Crash Landing on You, it might be something that you haven't heard that much about. But back when it was released, it was extremely popular. As far as I heard, a lot of people at the time, the CGI was what often people didn't like very much of the show.
You know, if you want to be,
is when it's good, it's really good, but it's not all like. I just remember from the final episode, there's a thing that's just not great. Also, the problem for a lot of us was that when they were airing it, like the first couple episodes, they did not have enough time to get the CGI in. So people in Korea watched it air, and there would just be blank where there was supposed to be CGI.
So they had to take a break to fix it.
They had to take a break so that they could catch up, and the CGI people could
I wonder if that was it makes you wonder if that was kind of around the time that they started realizing when it comes to these CGI heavy shows, because there really wasn't that much CGI many years prior, that much, to where it makes you wonder, if they learned their lesson with A Korean Odyssey.
That's also one where there was, I want to say maybe a death or an accident where somebody got hurt really badly from a falling chandelier or something, because they were rushing, because they were such long episodes and they were such everything. They just were going, and so there was a lot of controversy around it initially.
I didn't know about that. I'll have to go see what I can find about that.
What I mostly remember, though, is that when we were watching it, how he would all the time, he would say, "Do you want to eat me?" And the girls on Twitter were like, "Well, I mean, yeah."
No, do you want me to eat you? That's what it was.
And the girls on Twitter were all like, "I mean, yes."
So,
I mean,
so for those who don't know, in case you're curious about the plot of A Korean Odyssey, it is based on Journey to the West. I had to go research some stuff. The reality is, it is not really as close as you would think, as far as I can see. But it's just mythology stuff. So a lot of these characters are they're very obviously normal looking individuals, people, but they'll be like, "I'm a monkey and I'm a bull." They look like people. It's not like they have some thing on them that indicates that they're something else, until suddenly they'll do something and CGI will switch and they will actually turn into a large boar or something. And I get a kick out of that type of stuff, even if the CGI sometimes is questionable. But pretty much the main female lead, it starts when she is a little girl and she can see ghosts and stuff. So she becomes the key to unlocking one of the main mythological creature person, the Monkey King, from his jail. And she pretty much gets used to do that without her knowing, because she's a little girl. How would she know? And so then he promises to protect her, but then makes it to where she can't remember his name. Because, of course, he calls himself a bastard all the time. He is that way. He is a jerk. That is his shtick. So then later on, when they're adults, when she's an adult, later on, he's a bazillion years old. When she is of age later, in her late 20s, 30s, they run across each other again. And she's like, "I still don't remember your name." But she fakes that she does. And that she doesn't care enough to say it, that she's over it, that she never thought of him again throughout her life, and she didn't care that she wasn't protected, and she was fine by herself. And so that's actually a really smart play versus a very arrogant, jerky god, essentially. So of course he wouldn't drop it and would pester her until they would talk. So there's all these other characters like the Devil King, which he's a bull, and then there's Hong Joong Ki, and he's a boar, and then there's a dog. There's all types of these critters. And there's also a character that the Winter Soldier, he runs an ice cream shop, which is obviously always product placement.
Yeah,
great product placement each time. Winter Soldier who also has a sister. But a long, long time ago, the sister lost her body and also shares a body with the Winter Soldier. So the sister is also played by the same actor. So the Spring Fairy and the Winter Soldier are played by the same actor, which is, interesting and cool. They do a really good job of that and not making that weird or anything.
Yeah.
So there's a lot there as far as like the little girl who grew up to be this woman who still deals with being able to see ghosts and trying to help them when she can. Now having to deal with like her blood smells good, so everyone wants to, all the little mythical people want to eat her. Like it's all this thing. So of course, what do? You get something that makes the Monkey King protect you and fall in love with you. So it goes from there. Not everyone would enjoy necessarily watching something where you have the drama is very much, I'm madly in love with you, but only because I'm wearing a bracelet, essentially.
Yeah.
I think they draw the drama out well. And then there's if you're into the Law Cafe, by the way, so the leads of the Law Cafe are in it. The female lead from Law Cafe, she plays a zombie.
Right, I forgot she was in it.
Right. Yeah. So like she has a heck ton of screen time. Don't think that she doesn't. And they actually have a heck ton of screen time together and they interact a lot. It's really fun that, they've worked together obviously before they worked together for Law Cafe. I think that's really cool. I think it's a good thing to revisit for people that do, if you're really getting a kick out of the Law Cafe chemistry, if you're liking the actor and the actress from that, go check it out.
Recall that they actually did some rewrites in the second half of the show to give her character more screen time, to make her more of a main character because she was so popular and her chemistry was so good with the actors. They were like, let's draw this out a little longer. So
no, it definitely kind of feels like that because they had a small arc for her and they could have, scooted her off probably episode 4 or something. But yeah, definitely I'm to the part where there's more going on with that actress and character being able to do more stuff with that. I just think it's really fun if you like mythology stuff, if you kind of like, there's a specific episode, which I had already watched it once and I watched it again. I thought it was really neat how pretty much there was a ghost that they were trying to nab, essentially. And it went into a film. So they two of the characters had to pretty much go into this black and white film from like the 40s or something and find this in Japanese occupied Korea was the setting. So like it was a really cool episode. So I think the way they play with the ability of these characters to do things and to fight against bad spirits or whatever they call them, it's pretty fun. I really enjoy it. It's just my type of thing. It's really not, I'll also say it's really not that scary. Like if you're going and being concerned about scare, but if you're really like, no, can't handle literally any scare, there is some, I suppose. I'm enjoying it. It's something that I liked even back when I started a long time ago. I just haven't given it much attention. I will try to keep with it for sure. It is just a long show. It's a lot, really long. Yeah. I'm at episode 12 of 20, so there's still a fair bit for me to go. But
there's only so many hours in the day,
But a big main reason I did want to bring it up was if you're really into Law Cafe right now, and if you're wanting some more of that, like that interaction of those two the actor and the actress, like go for it. They're over in Korean Odyssey if you're wanting to check it out.
Amanda, what else have you been watching?
Well, keeping with my, family stuff, I started a daily. I've started dailies before, but like nothing's ever stuck past a couple episodes. I've been like, nah, not for me. This one, I don't know what it is about it, but for starters, there's short episodes. So when you look at a daily and you think 120 episodes, are you kidding me? They're a half hour long. So it like goes pretty quick.
It's not only 60 episodes, really, if you think about it.
So, and they come out, as the title would suggest, daily. There's like 5 a week come out, something like that. So it's basically like you're watching one of those this one anyway, like a chill family weekender, but split into 5 half hours instead of 2 hours over the week. And so the one that I started is called The Love in Your Eyes. And its main character is a young widow. Her husband died 5 years ago. She has a young daughter. I'm not even sure the daughter was born before the husband died. They got married because she got knocked up. He was either a med school student or like just finished med school and had become a doctor at that point. We don't have all the information yet, but he died and apparently he drowned. And it sounds like from some of the things that the brother and the mom have thrown at her over the years that he might have drowned, saving her from drowning. Like, so she and the baby didn't die kind of thing. But I'm not certain of that yet because I think there's about 20 episodes out and I think I'm about 12 in so far. She lives with his family, his grandmother, his parents, and she shares a bedroom with his younger sister and her daughter, obviously. They help her to raise this kid. She works the night shift at a convenience store and then comes home, gets her kid off to school. On a good day, she then goes to bed and sleeps for a few hours. And then she gets up and helps in the family restaurant. On a bad day, when her mother-in-law is in a mood, it's like, I think in the first 4 episodes, they covered 2 days and she slept for 3 hours. Like, she came home late after the convenience store having been robbed and she got injured fighting off a guy with a knife. She came home late. They're all mad that she's late. She's just in time to get the kid off to the school bus and then comes back to take a nap. And it's like, no, you have to go clean your brother-in-law's apartment because nobody's cleaned it in a couple of weeks. And you know how he is. He's so hard studying for med school that he can't, clean up after himself.
He can definitely spend 10 minutes cleaning up after himself.
Especially because he is not studying to go to med school.
Of course he's not. He's just fucking around. We all know this. This is how this goes.
So she goes to clean the apartment. She finds his credit card statements. He is overdrawn. He's maxed out. And the last time this happened, he came to her and she keeps paying his bills to keep it off of her parents.
Girl, get it together.
No.
I am done.
Right? This time she's like, no, I'm done. He walks in and she's like, you promised that was the last time. And I am so done with you. And he takes off and she chases him. And she chases him into this like restaurant bathroom or something. And she picks up this bucket of dirty mop water to throw at him. And of course he ducks out of the way. And of course she drenches this handsome man in a
yes.
Of course.
Go on.
So, every day at the convenience store before she leaves, there's this old man, this grandpa who comes in every day. And so he calls her his little baby chick and they have this little cute relationship. This guy is that grandpa's oldest grandson.
Of course.
It's a small world.
So, now what she doesn't know is that grandpa is also the owner of the convenience store chain.
Hey-o, making it rain.
Okay.
I love this shit. I eat this up. I eat it up.
The other thing that at this point she has no clue of, and he doesn't know, when he was 5, he was in an accident where he lost his sight. 5 years ago, he received a cornea transplant that allowed him to gain his sight back.
Oh,
so this is the premise that is written in like my drama list. It's about how she meets the man who has her husband's eyes, basically. Like, so that's why it's called The Love in Your Eyes. But they don't really play it up much. The first time she meets him, she sort of makes a comment about his eyes, but she's commenting more that he's like using his eyes to look down on her. Which, I mean, you just threw mop water on him. Like, I'd be pissed too. But she gives him $100 to pay for his dry cleaning. And she's still carrying this bag with a brand new tracksuit that was supposed to be for her brother-in-law. She gives that to him, like, here, wear this. And I'll get your phone number. Like, call me when it's like, I'll get it back from you afterwards. And, if there's any other costs involved in this, I will pay you. And he's kind of like, whatever. Like, I can pay for my own dry cleaning, but sure, whatever. She's like, don't look down on me. I'll pay my, whatever. So then it's like, because of this, they keep crossing paths. He goes home and his grandpa's like, so what, you've been in the States doing.
Oh, of course he's been in the States.
Right. So he's been in the States and going to school for marketing. And he comes back and he says, before I take a job in the marketing department of our company, I want to work my way up from the bottom and like know our product. Mm-hmm. So I think I should work in one of the convenience stores. And Grandpa goes, I know the perfect convenience store for you to work in today. So now they're working the night shift together and he is like learning all kinds of stuff and she's training him and,
So it's a daily, but it sounds like it's really not family heavy.
It kind of is, but like, because his family he lives at home with his grandpa, his half brother, his dad, and his stepmother. So it sounds like maybe his mom died in the accident that took his eye. So his stepmother is terrible because, she has to be, but in that sort of watchable, terrible way, not in that way where you're like,
just like, why?
So she's so evil. But like, there's a flashback to a conversation he had with his half brother where he says, what's the ocean like? And his brother's like, well, I mean, it's the ocean. And he's trying to explain, but you get through this conversation, you realize that the family took a family vacation to the beach and didn't take him. Probably because the mother was like, no, what's he going to do at the beach when he's blind? Like, I don't know, stick his fingers in the sand. Like, it's not really a sight thing, but okay. So you just kind of get the picture that she's looked after him, but she's never
liked him,
right? So there's that. And then she is living with all of her dead husband's family, and her father-in-law and her grandmother-in-law love her, like just absolutely adore her. It's very nice because it's very clear who they're setting everybody up with. So there's a girl that the male lead met in the States, and she's come back, and she is cousins with this dead husband's family. She's the dead husband's cousin. She's going to work for the company now, and her direct supervisor is going to be the stepbrother of the convenience.
The classic.
She currently thinks she's in love with the male lead and that he's going to fall in love with her. Now that we're in 5 years in the States, I couldn't get him to look at me, but now that we're back in Korea, now is my time. And you're like, now that there's no other women around that speak his language, like, come on, lady, like, whatever.
So are you going to keep watching it?
Definitely. I put it on and it's like just boom, boom, boom. Keep going. Like I just keep watching them. So
it seems like something that I would also watch. So maybe I will give it a
very
try.
Easy. It's just easy. And it's got a little bit more of the kind of Mac Jangy things, but like super, super light Mac Jang. Like it's there-ish, but it's not intense. It's just nice. You got cute couples you got stupid people that you want to smack, but they're redeemable. You can, nobody's done anything yet that you're like, we can't come back from this. So it's just easy. It's just an easy watch. So the love in your eyes. Quite like it.
One thing I want to point out is the fact that Natalia currently has a piece of paper smashed underneath her headphones that she is making a visor of sorts, and it's really stylish.
Like, the sun is coming in, hitting me right in the face. Country girls make do, right? It's a perfect little visor. I've got a little jaunty angle. Speaking of things that have disabled people being disrespected by everyone around them, I watched a really good movie this past month. It's called Midnight. And it is so it's like a thriller film. Mm-hmm. It won best movie at the Fantasia Film Festival in 2021, and it stars Wee Ha Jun, you know, don't get too excited. You're not going to like them. It's out there. And Jin Ki-ju, who was the lead in Come and Hug Me, Jesse's favorite show. And she plays a deaf woman who has a deaf mother. And she accidentally stumbles upon a serial killer mid-kill.
Yikes.
Ooh. And then becomes his target while also being absolutely disrespected by every single person she tries to go to for help. It is so good. I watched it with my sister, and we were both like, damn. My mom lasted about 5 minutes before she was like, no, I sorry, girls. Absolutely not. I'm out. So if you want to watch this movie, it is currently on Tubi, and I think in some areas, though not in Canada, it is on Amazon Prime, but not in Canada, but maybe in the States. And it is on Plex if you're a weirdo like me who has Plex, which is where I watched it. The sound direction on this movie is absolutely incredible because half of it is in complete silence because it'll cut to how she's perceiving the world around her. And it also highlights all these really cool disability aids technology that she has, like that will have like lights that'll light up when there's sound. So there's like a scene where he like makes it into her apartment and he's going around turning off all of the lights that like would indicate that there's someone walking around. Like it's anyway, Jesus. Okay, so like I've always said to myself, Jun, you're such a good looking guy, right? Why don't you do more, like romance leads? No, I'm out. No more. He doesn't have to. He should just do what, like, listen, just let him do whatever. Cause like terrifying. And also, but like, he's like the sort of serial killer that like ingratiates himself into. So, and because she can't hear and doesn't see his face, then he can, walk up as though he's just a guy walking by. What's wrong? Like the movie is so good. And it really sort of what I like about a lot of like, horror thriller type things is that like especially when they deal with, a marginalized character. And so a deaf woman in Korea would definitely be considered a marginalized character. What it's highlighting is not like, ooh, serial killers are scary. What it's actually highlighting is, wow, it really sucks to live as this marginalized individual when everyone infantilizes you because you're deaf, even though she's arguably the smartest person, her and her mother, the smartest people in this whole movie.
And even if she was just a woman, that would also be a thing.
But like in that drama that the Daily, the grandpa walks in at one scene where the girl is helping a blind customer out. Mm-hmm. And he goes home, and the first thing he says, he gets home, he says to his son, what do we do to help our disabled customers? And he's like, nothing. And he's like, work on that. That drop all the other stuff.
It's sort of like why I love the show, like Yankee and White Cane Girl, the Japanese show that's basically about a local ne'er-do-well who falls in love with a blind woman and then becomes obsessed with like the lack of accessibility in modern day Japan. Like, and it's adorable, but this is not an adorable film. And basically, what always frustrates me when I watch like these sorts of movies is when like the person being stalked by the serial killer. Like the plot is not an unusual thriller movie plot, right?
Yeah.
But what always frustrates me is when the main character is really stupid and only makes stupid decisions. And then I get really annoyed. She does not. Like, the stuff that she does, you're like, in that situation, I would do the same thing. Like, so you really relate to her character because you're like, okay, I might not be deaf, but in this situation, I would be making the same decisions that this woman's making. Because a sane person would be doing what she's doing. And it's so good. And I totally recommend it. Amanda, I doubt you'd enjoy it.
Not to me, but to other people.
It's not like a scary movie. Like, it's not scary. Like, so I wouldn't say it's like, there's like a few jump scare type things, but it's not like one that you're watching and you're like on like, like it's, unless you're my mother.
It's just more tense.
Yeah, it's tense, right? And then like, the moments that'll just cut to absolute silence, like, there'll be like, she has like this little thing that has like it'll go from like green to red, like in a series to show how loud the sound is. Right. And she'll just like be turning over and it'll be like, nah, 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 and you're like, oh, but you won't hear anything. And the only thing you're indicating is like how this like lights hitting in red. And you're like, no, Brad, like, oh God. But like, it's excellent. I do recommend. It says it's on Netflix on my drama list, but I don't think it is in Canada. So maybe at some point, somewhere in the world, this movie is on Netflix, but it certainly is not, the last time I checked, here. It has titles related to Midnight, but no.
Let me check really
I love that when you go to Netflix and you type in a title and it's like, oh, we know exactly what you're looking for. We don't have it, but like, here are all the dramas that we do have with that actor. And here are some other things from that country. And here's something like, I typed in this word. So at least give me stuff that has that word in the title. Like, come on. Don't tease me like this.
So it's on Tubi for free with, I assume, ads. Is it on Netflix in America? No. And it is on Plex for free with ads. So you can at least watch it for free.
That's fascinating that Tubi is able to have that when it got an award just like last year. Mm-hmm. That's really cool.
It used to be on Shudder, I believe. And it's no longer there that I know of in Canada anyway. But anyway, it's excellent, and I really enjoyed it. And if you like that sort of thing, you'll probably enjoy it. I did read some of the reviews on my drama list. Never do this. I don't know what's wrong with some, not everyone, but some commenters. I'm just like, okay, if you don't like thrillers,
if you don't like that type of a thing,
watch this and that type of and then someone said, but I think my favorite people were like, man, like the cops are so dumb in this. I'm like, so you've met smart cops, have you? Like,
okay. Also not really watched a lot of
the cops are ableist. They're not dumb, they're just ableist. Like, anyway, Sky, what else have you been watching?
So I'm going to talk about Love and Contract just a little bit.
Yes.
I will preface, I am not super caught up. I think I am about a week or two behind now, but I was caught up that far. So we have discussed Love and Contract. We did a live stream about it, and we talked all about like how it's very different feeling from, how there were aspects of it that felt different from other rom-coms and things like that. I'm going to give my opinion now that it is a typical rom-com.
Yeah, it conned us with those first 4 episodes. Listen, it's not bad.
No.
It's very enjoyable and very fun, and I like it.
But.
However.
Now, to me, it is serving as advertised what you think it would be. It's just the first 4 episodes felt different than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not to say, like, I kind of have seen people talking about, like, I think it kind of swings a certain way, like, most recently, and I haven't gotten that far. But as far as how the characters are interacting, how Park Min-young's character is reacting to things, it feels squarely typical rom-com decisions at this point. Which that's what I think our main thing was. We really liked her character and how her character was so nuanced and didn't feel like she'd probably get, carried away with emotion for no reason, all these things.
Like, she's still pretty cool.
She's so cool.
Yeah.
But, I mean, a lot of her reactions at this point are very like, oh, rom-com character reacting the rom-com character way. Got it.
I will say though, the character of Miss Yu, she's going on a wild journey, and I'm here for it.
Miss Yu?
The woman who raised her.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, she's on listen, her roller coaster arc going on there, and then the gay roommate also on a I love it.
I mean, and I will preface, I am enjoying the show. It is fun. I'm just saying it's typical rom-com fun. A lot of it so far. So I wanted to touch base back on that since we had discussed it together, and I do like it. I think everyone's doing a good job. I think that both of the male leads are really it's fun to watch them even in scenes by themselves, not necessarily with Park Min-young's character. Like any of their scenes are fun. So I mean,
what I really enjoy is that there is one way that the show sort of if you start in the show thinking that actor has any sort of shot, you're in the wrong show, my friend. This is not a love triangle. So if you're not a fan of love triangles,
which is totally how they suggested it was in this show,
this is a solid love line with someone standing off to the side going, oh. So, do with that what you will.
Right. I do think it's fun though. I mean, I'm enjoying it. It's a very fun show. And I just haven't had time to catch up to the most recent episodes.
I didn't have time to I wasn't keeping up with it. And then I told my sister that she should stop paying for Vicky since she never watches it and it's just me. I'm like, dude, I am a grown woman. I can pay for my own subscription. Please stop. Unless that's my birthday present. Please just stop paying for something they're not using. And then it was gone. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just went through with it instead. Yeah.
Maybe you should have had that discussion after the show.
You should have had that discussion next weekend after the show.
At the time, I was only watching It's Beautiful Now and Three Bold Siblings. And I was like, everything I'm watching right now is on Kokowa. So if I'm gonna have to pay for Kokowa anyway, I might as well pay for Kokowa and you stop paying over here. And then it was oh, I guess I'm not watching these shows right now until, some point I'll get rid of Kokowa and I'll pay for Vicky for a couple of months and then I'll binge them then,
just
right?
Go back and forth,
Exactly.
It's a good idea. But yeah, I mean, I recommend Love and Contract so far. It is
If
fun.
you like contract dramas,
you know what I've heard?
It's the mother of all contract dramas.
More than one person that they are not watching it because there are no handsome men in it. And I'm like, excuse me? That is Gokang Pyo,
wait, whoa.
What are you talking about?
No, are you kidding me? Both my mother and my sister that I'm talking about does not even like men. She thinks men are the worst, okay? Because let's be honest, both of them are like, oh, these men are so beautiful. Look at their beautiful lips. Look how nice these men look. So if you're out there thinking there's no good looking men in this, are you blind? Do you not have eyes? What are your standards?
Cool. That you're not into them. Okay, but please, Gokang Pyo is.
Listen, they might not be your type, but that doesn't mean they're not attractive.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And Kim Jae-young is ethereally
beautiful,
a beautiful person.
Exactly. Yeah.
I find it so weird to I've mostly only ever seen him in Saeguk's, so it's just so I'm oh, okay, modern man. I do like how they keep cutting back to the fake movie where he's crying in the phone booth and every half of the people are making fun of it, and it's and his mom's oh, he's such talented, and then the main Park Min-young character's laughing hysterically at this movie, but yeah, no.
I will say. It definitely also, it kind of does more of the family kind of, I'm not saying it's a family drama. It's not. Mm-hmm. When I say that there's family drama in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's definitely holding true for the chick that raised Park Min-young's character. She's definitely still in the game, still around. That's a huge thing. Mm-hmm. But also, the lead actor guy's his whole family situation. And then we're looking at Gokumpyo's character situation. So like family is definitely becoming more of a thing, like midway through. I'm sure it's not some people's thing, which is totally fine. But I still don't think it didn't match the tone that was like episode 1 and 2, because she was so cool. She still is cool, but she's not making different choices than really most typical rom-com character would.
It no longer feels like it might end with her picking nobody and going off to Canada to like.
Oh, definitely not. No, we're long. We've long past that. Okay, we're long past that.
Which that was the tone I had from her the first couple of episodes, and I was actually like, legit, I kind of want that. I think that would be a really cool, especially like.
It's fine. Listen, it's fine. Like her and
it's fine.
Have really great chemistry. So
but when you get your tooth set for something like, ooh, it's a step different, and then it's like, then you take that step back. Like, nope, it's the same as a lot of stuff. That's fine. That's fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
How about you, Amanda? What's your third main one you're going to talk about?
Boy, it's too bad there wasn't a 3 in that Love in Your Eyes, because my other one is 3 gentle bros. So I had
3 gentle bros.
3 gentle bros.
I too am watching this.
It's cute. It's kind of like, if I had to describe it, I would say it's like a kind of a version of Cinderella and the Four Knights. Like it's kind of that same kind of a setup. You've got, except for instead of 3 cousins, you've got 3 half brothers, and instead of a meddling grandfather, you've got a meddling mother. You've got Luke is, I think, the oldest brother.
Yeah.
Oh, so is this Luke. A Thai show?
Yeah, it's a Thai show.
It's a Thai show. It's Luke he's been off living with his dad and his stepmom. You've got Taewon as, I think, the middle brother. Just nice guy. Seems to be just a
gentleman, little gentleman,
nice dude. And then you've got Gunn playing a high school brother,
playing a little gremlin, an absolute little gremlin. Yeah. Like he's delightful. He's my favorite character because he's just so terrible.
And mom keeps trying to like bribe the older 2 to like spend more time with her. Like the high school one has to be around her because he's still in high school. But the other 2 don't have to live with her anymore, so they don't. And so she keeps trying to like bribe them with like cars and stuff and like come back home. So, and they're like, whatever.
The youngest one's the only one who can actually be bribed to do anything.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll take a car. Like, what do you want? You give me a car. Oh,
and then you've got Mook, who is the female lead. She's off, runs a little takeout restaurant with her mom. Basically the whole premise of it, how it starts, is that Luke's stepmother suspects that his dad is cheating on her. She has some pictures, but they're not very clear. She has knowledge that he is maybe at this hotel with this woman. So we're going to go and catch him in the act. The woman is Mook's older sister, who is an actress who works at this family's television station, right? Mook is over there visiting her sister. Her sister's like, hey, like, change your shirt. I don't know, she spilled something on it or whatever. And she's like, here, I'll get you a new shirt. Just get changed. The dad walks in when Mook is topless and back to him. And he, like, wraps his arms around her just as Luke and his stepmother pop in.
Burst in.
Like, we caught you. Ha-ha.
And she's like, I don't know who this man is. I don't know who you are.
Right now, by a stranger. But, like, okay. And so they go off, and basically nobody believes her that she's not having an affair with the man that she's half naked with, which fair enough. And her sister is like, you will ruin my acting career if it comes out that it was me, right?
Like so you're just a chef at a takeout restaurant, okay? Yeah, like I'm an actress. Don't ruin.
And mostly she's like, it'll ruin her career because she'll get fired because the television network is owned by the stepmom. Like, if it's not owned by the dad, he just works there. Like, it's not, yeah. So she's out of luck if this gets found out. She'll be blacklisted. So Luke, though, just can't let it go. He's like, stop sleeping with my dad. And she's like, I'm not sleeping with your dad. So I like back up off me. And he keeps like ordering food from her restaurant. And he keeps thinking about her and then going, no, stop it. That's your
I can't like the woman having an affair with my father who keeps telling me she's not having an affair, but I don't believe her for reasons.
So, you know, it's just, there's just nonsense going on. And like the mom doesn't like the girl that Luke is being set up to marry. So she's trying to like get Mook to mess up their family because they already hate you. And, you know, and Taewon, meanwhile, has just bumped into her. Like they both go jogging in the morning and bump into each other all the time, working out and stuff, and just have this nice little like chit chat in the mornings. And then like Luke's like, now you're trying to like seduce my brother. You can't have anybody in my family. And she's like, I'm jogging in a public park. Like, relax. What is your problem?
So the way that the show is set up, it's like in 3 parts. So the first 4 episodes are him and her, and then the next 4 are Taewon and another character, and then in his greatest role ever, a straight man in a rom-com, there will be a third plot with Gun and some woman, and
okay.
I never thought I'd see the day, you know.
So it was cute. I didn't realize that Gun was meant to be a high schooler until there was an episode where like Luke catches her with Taewon and like Gun happens to be there too, and then he's like, "Oh, do you want to have this brother too?" And Gun's like, "Are you into minors?" And she's like, "What the heck? Like, no."
What? Old men into minors? What is this? It's very funny. It's a cute
silly.
show.
Mook and Luke, I watched them in something that
Boss
and Me, and they were cute in that. They have good chemistry with each other, and it just, I mean, it's light and nonsense. It's sort of like Lacorn light, like it's got all the little nonsensy stuff going in, but under like a rom-com filter, not a like people are gonna die filter. So it's just silly and cute and fun, and it's on YouTube and you can watch it for free. So you know, that's
free is good.
Nice.
Yep,
free is nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So the next show I'm watching is another once a week Japanese show. I don't know why I'm torturing myself this way, but I am, and it's fine. And it has an incredibly long title, okay? So stay with me, friends. All right, so the title on Viki, if you want to watch it, is Kabekoji Nekoyashiki-kun Desires to be Recognized. But you will not find that on my drama list if you're looking it up on my drama list. On my drama list, it has an even longer title. Okay, so stay with me, friends. It's Kabe Seidujin Saka no Neko Yashiki-kun wa Shunin Yoku yo wo Koji ra Seteru. I apologize, I'm not Japanese. But I did.
What is there not an English title?
No, the English title is Kabe Koji Neko Yashiki-kun Desires to be Recognized. So it follows this manga artist who draws just filthy gay porn manga, like just hentai. Like I think the title of his manga is like "Suck on My Big Manly Titties." Like it's ridiculous. And he's like he's very reclusive and very like he doesn't know how to talk to people and clearly has some sort of like depression problem. And he has one diehard fan who's like this really adorable girl who hangs out with him and helps him sell his manga at these like comic book conventions. And you then find out that when he was in high school, he was friends with this guy who smiles and is really happy and everyone loves, who has now become an idol singer. And he is secretly like a super fan of this idol singer because he's been in love with him since high school, but never said anything. And then, while wearing, the cap and the sunglasses, this guy shows up at this comic book convention to buy his nasty gay manga. And is like, I'm your number one fan. Like, I love everything you write. I can't just, woo! And he's like, wait, what? And he's like, you inspired me to become an idol, like, back in high school. And I'm so glad that, like, we can be friends again. And he's like, no, what's happening? Momo-chan, I love you so much. And he's just like, what? Anyway.
So it's definitely like a sunshine.
Oh, sunshine, gloom, like, sort of thing. And it is like the way it's done, there's like this over the top narrator, and it's like it'll cut to like, really like stupid manga stuff. Like at one point, like, like the hard eyes, and then when him and the girl who's like his diehard friend and fan and only friend, they'll like eating a big meal, they'll like sit back and both of them have big fake like pregnancy bellies as they're sitting on both sides of the table. They're like, oh, that was a good meal. Like, we're so full. Like, it's very comedy heavy, but it's goofy, but it's so endearing at the same time.
Isn't it based on a manga?
It is based on a manga, I do believe. I believe it's based on a manga.
You can usually tell when you're starting to see that color of blonde hair.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's also playing an idol, so like,
right.
And what I love about it is, I was watching an episode and my husband was like, it doesn't sound like those people singing in this scene are professional singers. And I'm like, I don't think they are either. Like, people playing idols, like, they might be, but like, they got done dirty by the sound production. But the group is really cute. There's like 3 other members, and you like find out about the other members, and then you find out about the main dude's family, who's also a huge diehard fan of this like 4-member idol group. And it's like, no, you're gonna invite him over for dinner. And he's like, please, no, like, I'm so awkward and weird. Don't do this. They can finally take this off. And like, they're like, no, you're inviting him for dinner. And anyway, it's so cute and it's goofy and weirdly,
and it's on Viki.
It's on Viki, so it's like easy to find. If you're in North America, I guess. If you're not in North America, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure there's places to find it, if you know what I mean.
Places with stuff.
But there's only 5 episodes out so far. I have watched all 5 episodes and am in love with it. Yeah, I think it updates on Mondays. So anyway, I absolutely love it. And I think if you like sort of goofy, it's not like heavy on the romance. Like, you can tell they're both like in love with each other, but it's like real snail's pace type. Like one's in the public eye and one's a reclusive, depressive. So
yeah.
So
like it be what it be. But just the idol guy, he's so like unerringly happy. Like, he's so cute. And then like the depressed guy is just like confused about everything he encounters in life. He's like, I just want to sit in my dark little house and draw big, beefy, naked dudes. I don't know what to tell you. It's adorable. While it does have this inappropriate manga that you will see, like, you just, it's a drawing of a beefy dude shirtless, like holding massive pecs. Like, that's the most scandalous it gets. Like, you're not seeing, Vegs and meatballs, if you know what I mean. Like, it's not wholly inappropriate. Like, Amanda, you could definitely watch this with your older kids around and it wouldn't be offensive by any stretch of the imagination. It's so funny. A+. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't seen many other people that I know like watching it, which I find
some people might be waiting until it's done.
They might be
like
smart,
coming out
like
on Viki.
Me. They might be smart, unlike me, watching it. I'm really into it, and I don't think there's going to be that many episodes. there's apparently 8 episodes according to my drama list. But
and how many have you seen?
I have seen 5.
Okay.
And 6 comes out on Monday. It's my Monday schedule. What about you, Sky? What else? What final thing do you want to tell us about?
So I'm going to talk about the Law Cafe. I'm going to circle back and talk about that a little bit. I think I kind of stopped on 8-ish, episode 8-ish. So again, I'm not current with like the newest episodes by any means. I do plan on picking it back up. It's more like I binged a big chunk of it. And then since I was chomping at the bit, I was like, I'm gonna need to wait. And then I got busy with life stuff anyway. So Law Cafe is, I think, based on a web novel, Love According to Law. And it definitely feels like that. So if you haven't checked it out, it is that tone. And that I do enjoy it. I will preface all of these things. Though they do deal with some like heavy topics when it comes to the types of people that she is trying to help. So sometimes it is like industrial accidents that lead to death or disfigurement. Sometimes it's like child abuse. Sometimes like there's a dog death. Like there's a lot in this show. Despite the fact that if you had to quantify most of the episodes into like what amount of this feels silly, a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then they will have like 20 minutes where they're really serious. So it definitely has that tone switch a lot. And now I will say they do the best they can with when it comes to these topics. They do treat them very seriously. It's not as if they ever joked about abuse or anything. They're very serious when it is appropriate. I'm just saying when it's silly, it's very, very, very silly. So I think for a lot of people that may, that might drive them away. Because if you're there for like the hard hitting stuff, you're usually not ready in the next scene to have funny haha, like really funny haha, and like slapstick level. And
I think like I've got it on hold too for like the opposite reason. I've been in the light fluffy mood, and I just where I left it, I was like, I just can't make myself push play again right now because I'm like, I don't want to see that part right now. You know,
So there's definitely the kind of hard hitting parts, aside from the people that she's helping, her own story of like her dad was a part of an industrial accident thing, and then she thought that he was like to blame for it, and he passed with that accident. But then also, as far as who, like the company that caused the accident and stuff, it's the lead characters, like the friend from high school and, the love interest, and it's his family that he has tried to estrange himself from and all these things. And of course it comes back to being a thing. So it's like this star-crossed thing, but then like, how are we going to deal with it? How are we going to get back at them? So again, there's parts of that are slapstick, but there's parts of that are like grief and anger and like betrayal as far as not being wholly truthful on like things. I kind of wish it was 2 separate shows is what it ends up making me feel like. Like, I wish the silly side, like, if there was a show just the silly side, and then a show like with all the hard hitting stuff. And
it does feel a bit like some of the cases feel too heavy and too dark for what the rest of the show is. Like it's kind of like one of them is a plot about medical marijuana, and you're like, okay, like that cool. Feels like it fits, but then you get into the child abuse one and it's intense, and you're like, okay, like,
or there's like,
okay,
a high schooler or junior high like thinking of suicide because of bullying. I mean, there's a lot of tough stuff that at least a show like Tomorrow, the entire overall plot of tomorrow is sad. Like, because you're overall dealing with sad stuff.
Yeah.
But Blood Cafe, since it swings back and forth so much, I don't think it, once I get in that mood to watch it, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's just
Same.
because they have good, the leads have good chemistry, and it can be fun to watch. They do handle the difficult things well. It's just the show itself, since it gets so silly sometimes, like, it's such a unique.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that there are Western shows that do similar.
Yeah.
I am sure.
But can't think of any off the top of your head.
feel like K-dramas, there's kind of this subsection of K-dramas that do this like very purposeful tone switching.
Yeah.
And usually they are based on like a web novel thing or whatever. So you kind of have to be in that, like, I'm pretty much watching a manga type thought in order to make it feel acceptable. Again, I never thought, oh, this is unacceptable. It's just like, oh, dog death, but two like, scenes later we're laughing. Like, I mean, it's just like
it's
tough.
The crazy uncle though, he's wild in it. That actor is enjoying himself.
I always love when you can see
thrown himself into that role. And
let me see.
Really
so
good.
Jo Han-chul, he's in like everything, and he's always he is down for everything.
Yeah,
like he will do it. And his character is like chewing scenery level of crazy in this show.
Oh, I love it.
And but also like Lee Seung-gi's character, and like when they're in a scene together and they are not happy with you, like it's very. And so even with like the corporate family stuff, so kind of it doesn't really go mahjong. It does go like super tense with actual like fist fights and blood and like it just there's a lot for one show. It's a lot for one show. I'm enjoying it. I know it sounds like I'm not. I do have to be in.
Like I promise I am.
I know. I'm like,
I have
really
to be in the
though.
correct mood for it because it is so tone switchy. I have to be to where I can handle the really heavy stuff.
Yeah,
and be okay with it being like something really stupid. So
it's on my list to watch when it's like fully done. I do sometimes have self-control.
If it's not done yet, it should be very, very soon.
It's got to be like this week or next week.
Yeah, like it's very, very soon.
Because I think I'm on like 10 and haven't watched it in a couple weeks. So like it's so
it is very enjoyable. What I really liked about it, as far as if you're going into it for, I haven't even talked about the rom-com side of it. Okay, you're pretty much going in for like the friends to enemies to lovers type thing, and that is they sell it pretty well. I will say his character is absolutely frustrating for a very long time. Like, just be ready for the long haul with that if you are really trying to stick through it, because
I mean.
Frustrating.
And our girl is in it. Our Kim So-gi plays a cop. She's she is amazing in it. There is not enough of her. I will just say that.
She is the most no nonsense. Like, she does not put up with crap, and she doesn't care if you're her friend. She's gonna freaking do her job. Like,
oh, she's amazing. She's so good.
But she's also, on the flip side, she's very, very, very caring for her best friend. Like, she always is there to like comfort her and go check on her and stuff, despite the fact that she has like a baby at home and is super busy. So her character's really good. Always want to see more of her. Like, whenever we get a big scene with her, I'm like, okay, I want to see you again very soon. Like, please. And then it'll be like 2 episodes before you see her again. It's like, well, that's a thing. Love Cafe.
Before we end, Amanda, very quickly, is there anything else that you've been watching?
I started Becoming Witch, which is about 3 wives who, I don't know what. I just started it. I watched maybe the first half of the first episode, and it's got some nonsense going on. I mean, it basically opens with a scene of the three of them in a convertible driving around, and then one of them's got to pee, and they pull up to the side of the road, and they all go to pee in the field, and then the cops come by and just see an abandoned car in the middle of the field, and they're like, crap! And so they hop up, they get up into the car, and the trunk pops, or they can hear something in the trunk, so they open the trunk, they go, oh! And then one of them smacks something with a shovel, and they shut the door again and hop in and start driving away from the cops, and you're like, what am I watching? And then it's like, 3 months earlier or whatever. And so there's a lot of, I'm not sure what's going on there yet, but like, it's got that actress, she does a lot of weekenders. Oh shoot, I can't remember her name. She was in My Father is Strange. Let me just see. Lee Yu Ri. So it's Lee Yu Ri with this like spunky little short haircut, and she wears wild clothing, and she's very almost like got a gangster kind of mall kind of vibe to her. There's a lot going on there. I don't know. It's weird, but I kind of dig it, but I'm just not really in the mood for it. So I put that to the side for now, and we'll see. But it's weird. It's interesting. So I'm curious. And I started Glitch, but again, same thing. I've gotten about halfway into the first episode.
Crap. So, I totally binged Glitch. That's a thing.
Did you enjoy it? I haven't watched it yet.
Yes.
Mom's internet couldn't handle it. So
I will say about Glitch, there will probably be
an episode
a spoiler episode or an episode just about Glitch. Like that will be a thing sometime. So cool. I did the weekend it came out, I binged the crap out of Glitch. I did really enjoy it.
Like started it last week, and then I just got sucked into this daily that I can't get out of right now. So, and the other one that I started that I quite like on iQIYI, I started watching a C-drama called Rocket Mom, and it.
Okay. Before you get into this, literally last night, I was sitting there watching a C-drama, not Rocket Mom, a different C-drama. And my husband was like, oh, did you hear about this very popular in China C-drama, Rocket Mom? There was he was reading a whole article about it.
Wow. Okay. Well, so, I can see why, like, it's cool. I like it. It's, the mom was part of a band with her husband and her best friend. They were rockers. And then one night, like, right before the concert, her best friend shows her that her husband has signed the divorce papers and married her. And so she's up on stage giving this concert standing between two people who have betrayed her. And she just, and her best friend keeps smirking at her. And so she just pulls off her guitar and just clocks her with the guitar. And then leaves the country. She goes to the States because she was offered a deal to go be a solo act in the States with but she said, no, I can't leave my band behind. And then they betrayed her. So she was like, bye. And so she left to go to the States. She did not make it big in the States. She also left behind her 6-year-old daughter to be raised by dad. And now dad has died, and she has come back to see the daughter, who is 16, 18, 20, something like that. Like she's in that kind of range, has no interest in her mother. And her mother's like, that's fine. I don't really have much interest in you either, obviously, or else I would have been in your life over the last decade. But her daughter plays bass guitar and is trying to start up a band. So I think we can see where that's going to go. But right now
it's wildly popular in China right now.
It's very interesting. It's weird. Like you don't usually see something where the mom is that cool. Like she gets back into town and the daughter's not there to greet her, but her best friend is. And he's like her best friend, her old best friend, like a dude best friend. He's been helping to look after this kid all of her life, raising her and stuff. Yeah. And so he's trying to mend things between the two of them. He tells her, your mom will be here. She's not there. And mom goes, all right, let's go out drinking. They hook up with a bunch of their old rocker buddies and then get passed out drunk at the house. And the daughter, this is how her daughter finds her after not seeing her for like 12 years, is like passed out drunk in a bed with, another guy and stuff. And it's not healthy and it's not happy right now, but you can see how it's probably going to get there. Like they're going to, while they can't get back those years, they can become friends, maybe, like start to relate to each other as adults. So
anything else you're watching?
No, that's it.
All right. Cool. For me, it never ends. It never ends with old Natalia. I did watch this entirely. It's on Viki. This very cute, cheesy little rom-com called Be at Ease, Mr. Ling, because it had the girl who starred in Love Like the Galaxy in it. And she was also in that one about the chef and the hotelier. Anyway, I really like her, and I think she's fun. But then I was watching it, and so it's like, it has this guy, he's like the second brother of this, conglomerate family. And he then, one of his brothers is like trying to get him out of the picture so we can inherit the company, blah, 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 blah. But he's like the most competent brother. But I was like looking, and then, she accidentally hits him with her scooter and, shenanigans, right? But I was like looking at these two brothers, like, so there's like the three brothers. So there's like the older brother and the younger brother. And I'm like, man, like these two brothers, they look so familiar to me. Why do I know them? And it's because they played the villains in The Untamed. I was like, oh shit, those guys. So I was like, damn, back at it again. Okay. It was cute. It wasn't, it was exactly what you would expect it to be. When you sit down to watch a Chinese rom-com about rich guy, poor girl, you know what you're watching. And in terms of those shows, it was very entertaining. The main couple was it moved a lot quicker with the romance than I thought it was going to. Like, they were smooching pretty early. I was, okay. All right. So that's on Viki. It was very cute. I've also been keeping up with Love in the Air, which before we started recording, I was lamenting about the show being way better than it should be. To Sky and Amanda. That's on iQIYI. It's like one of those shows that's like, it's in two parts, basically. So the first part is like the first couple, and the second part is the second couple. We're very deeply in the second couple right now, and they're a delight. I've also on iQIYI, against my better judgment, been watching Big Dragon. And it's, it's a thing. It's a show. The chemistry is great. The plot, limited. Very limited plot. Very toxic characters that are terrible for each other, but, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. There's like a little BDSM flair, which you can only see on iQIYI, because this is also airing on YouTube for free, but is the like TV cut on YouTube. So if you want the slightest hint of spice, you gotta go to iQIYI for that. I actually really like iQIYI as a service. Me too. I'm not trying to be a corporate show.
That was why I started Rocket Mom, was because I was sitting there going, you're paying for iQIYI. Go watch iQIYI. So I was
don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Amanda, because this month Between Us starts on iQIYI. So we're good.
All right.
I've also been watching on iQIYI again, because I get my money's worth on iQIYI, because I actually really like iQIYI. My Only 12%, which is by the same director as Until We Meet Again, and Between Us, which starts next week. I'm so excited. Anyway, okay, stop telling. Get it together. It is very sad, but not sad in like a crying sort of way, but sad in sort of a like bittersweet sort of situation. And finally, I have watched the first 2 episodes that are currently available on YouTube of the new incredible Strongberry production known as Choco Milkshake.
I've been curious about this one.
Okay, it's actually very adorable. The first 2 episodes, anyway. If you're curious about what the plot is, because the posters made it seem like it was going to be something less adorable, if you know what I mean. But
there were a lot of colors involved.
A lot of colors, but it does make sense in context of the plot, which is this guy gets home from work to find these 2 men waiting outside his house. And he's like, okay, like, hello, friends. Who are you? And they're like, oh, we're your dog and your cat from childhood. We've been reborn as human men. And we came to find you because we love you so much. And he's like, what? So anyway, one of them is his dog, Choco, and one of them is his cat, Milkshake. And let me tell you, these 2 actors playing these human versions of dogs and cats really understand dogs and cats because, like, they embody the personalities perfectly. It's very cute and it's silly. And I'm just waiting for more episodes because they're only like 15-minute, like they're short, right? Because it's Strongberry. They do short stuff.
Mostly what I've seen on Twitter is just people lamenting that it probably won't just wind up as a throuple because it's just too cute and it should just be.
I don't see a throuple in our future. There's a second fully human man who's a character in the show that I feel like the cat's currently being very aloof to. Nice. So anyway, it's very silly. It's very silly. But I really like it. That's on YouTube. You can watch it for free. The first 2 episodes are currently out. Sky, anything else you've been watching before we sign off?
Yes. So these are shows that I haven't watched a ton of recently, but a little bit here and there. So Once Upon a Small Town, I've watched the first 4 episodes so far. I have a lot to go still. Really cute. I know a lot of people are like super into that one. And it's done. It's been done for a little bit. So it's definitely one that I will be finishing. It's like veterinary doctor from Seoul, like grandpa has been a veterinarian in this tiny town for forever. And machinations, he ends up kind of taking over the veterinary place for his grandfather during a time period. And then the lead female is a police officer, but of course, like childhood friends, blah, 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 blah. So it's cute. You get all the like silly small town stuff, which is always the thing. I also
Joy,
picked,
right? Isn't it? It's Joy is in that one.
Yeah.
Is the girl. Yeah. It's cute.
I picked up Reply 1997 again for like another episode. I keep picking that up whenever I have time.
One at a time.
Yeah. Really fun. I'm sure I'll talk about that again more later. Since I was trying to be in a Halloween mood, I did watch the first half of the first episode of Tale of Arang.
Okay. Yeah.
I will probably eventually finish that sometime, but I ran out of time. So that is something I watched. I will mention a couple of movies that we did watch as a group.
That's true. We did watch some movies.
If you don't know, so the folks that do support us over on Patreon, we call them our found family. We do a monthly movie night with people. So these were the movies that we watched. We watched Shanghai Fortress, and we watched Super Me. So those are 2 things. Both Chinese.
What a journey we went on with those films, huh?
Yeah.
So Shanghai Fortress, you get dystopian military fighting aliens with Luhan, and Super Me, you get
something.
You get supernatural powers,
dimension hopping thievery
stuff.
We're not sure. So
but it was enjoyable to watch. It was a little weird and I
still don't quite understand how it worked, but like,
but it was kind of fun to watch.
Fun. We had a a good time.
Shanghai Fortress, less so. It was not as good, but
Yippee what it be.
Wuhan was fine.
This is the thing. We always pick movies when you go into a movie you've never seen. How do you know if it's gonna be good?
Sometimes
you gotta watch it.
Exactly.
So I will do another asterisk. I did binge all of Glitch and I really enjoyed it. So we will talk about that some other time. And I did want to mention this is not an Asian entertainment thing, but is something that I have been consuming a lot of. So I'm going to give a small little side note of I have gotten a lot into Dimension 20, which is a actual play tabletop Dungeons and Dragons type stuff.
It's amazing
most of the time. So I started with A Court of Fey and Flowers. That is Regency / Jane Austen-esque fairy type stuff. Super, super fun. If you're into that type of thing, check it out. I've never watched even a Dungeons and Dragons anything and I went into that and I had a blast watching it.
Yeah. Dimension 20 is so good.
These are people that are they're actors and they're really good at improvisation. Like that's their job. So they do great voices and great acting and great descriptions of sets and just it's great. And so then the next one I watched was Misfits and Magic, which is pretty much a send up of Harry Potter, but so funny. It's really enjoyable. And yeah,
literally so funny. It's so good. It's so good.
So then after that, I watched The Seven, which The Seven is, it's set in to quote them, a John Hughes-esque version where
of a fantasy
world. And these characters go to high school and it was 7 maidens who there was this prophecy and then they end up being in a adventuring party together. I mentioned all of this because I spent a lot of time watching this stuff because I love it. And when I say it is hilarious and moving and it has actually taught me stuff about myself, I mean it. So
it's incredible.
Highly, highly recommend. I will say, as far as if you want to watch any of this, there are clips and things on YouTube, but it is its own subscription service. It's called Dropout. It is a college humor. That's why it's called Dropout. So it's a college humor company thing. They have other really funny game shows and stuff, which I'm starting to get into and I really enjoy. So again, if you really like improvisation, but what's also cool about these shows, not only do they show the game itself, but then they have kind of after talks about why they made those choices or how they made their characters. But some kind of the main couple of people that have ran a couple of these games, and definitely Brendan Lee Mulligan's kind of the main one that is over all of Dimension 20. He has his fingers and everything. He approaches everything philosophy is kind of his angle with stuff, and then also with the improvisation, and he pretty much
he knows everything. It's wild.
He takes characters down to their nuts and bolts of the type of human that they are and just kind of restructure. It's just really, really cool. And it's kind of a great insight into humanity. I won't go further than that. Sorry, I already talked about a lot. But
no, it's fine. You don't need to apologize. People should know about this series.
As somebody who has not watched any tabletop gaming before at all and knew nothing, I still very much enjoyed all of it.
Yeah, it's not very heavy on the technical side. It's more heavy on the entertaining.
It is not appropriate for children.
No.
I will say that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
There's a reason they have their own service.
There's some full episodes you can see on YouTube. I think the first series they did, which is Adventure High. Fantasy High. Yeah. I think the first season, which the 7 is a spin-off of.
There's 3 seasons so far of Fantasy High.
Which Fantasy High was what I just randomly found it on YouTube one day. And then I was like, oh, this is my personality now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you can, I think, see the first season of Fantasy High on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And sometimes there's there's an episode of this, or they'll have someone had animated a clip, but also what's kind of fun about the after talks with this stuff. So for instance, Misfits and Magic, of course, based on Harry Potter stuff. But when you go to the after talk of these things and they're talking about their choices and whatever, whenever they reference J.K. Rowling, they'll be the transphobe authoress, and that's the only way that they talk about her. And then,
well, it's the only way you should. It's the only that's the only way that Daniel Radcliffe talks about her too. So hey-o.
And then they'll be like, fuck Terse, and then they go on and talk about
they're wonderful. There's also, if you're a fan of My Brother and Me, which you should be, because it's one of the funniest podcasts, besides ours, of course. No. The three brothers who make up My Brother and Me are on a season of this called Toy Heist, which I'm
Tiny Heist,
where they all play toys, and it's them and their dad, and then like a few other people, and Brendan Lee Mulligan as the DM, and it is, the humor in it is top notch, like absolutely so funny. Like even my husband, who only listens to this casually, there's like this one monologue that one of them does about his like character who's like a Lego man's background. My husband was crying. He was laughing so hard.
Nice.
Like he was like, oh no.
Well, so
yeah,
just to put you in mind, sometimes the humor is just really ridiculous. Like my husband was not watching the show with me, but I had to make him pay attention to a part of the show because there was a part in one of the games where there was just a lot of like potty humor, but it was so silly that everyone at the table could not stop laughing. And Briley Mulligan would just not stop like making it sillier and sillier.
Yeah.
And everyone got the giggles, and these professional actor improvisation people cannot stop laughing, and they can't look at each other. They're like, we have to stop laughing. So like, I don't know, it feeds your soul to like have that much joy sometimes in something. So
and
it's called Dimension 20. It's found on Dropout. That's what that is. It doesn't have anything to do, but it's about stories. Storytelling is what it comes down to.
And as we always say, there's nothing more enjoyable than watching someone become enthused about something they love.
Yep.
And that is the essential. They are loving what they're doing while doing that. And it's delightful.
Yeah.
Cool. Anyway, thank you. We're back. After our short hiatus. We are back and better than ever, hopefully. Anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to us, and we'll be back next week with another episode. If you want to listen to this podcast, other than where you found it, you can find it on pretty much wherever podcasts can be found, as well as YouTube. And of course, you can go to our website, certifiednoonas.com, if you want links and time codes of things happening in this episode. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certifiednoonas and become part of the Found family. And maybe, I don't know, join us for one of our monthly movie nights. We love our Found family. They are the best. They pay for our hosting and everything. They're great. We think you guys are the best. You're literally the best. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week. We're getting back in the swing of things. So we hope that thank you for sticking around with us while we took a little vacation, which we don't do that often. So we're glad that you let us do so. Anyway, you hope you have a fantastic week. And, keep, as we always say, keep washing your hands, keep wearing a mask. Still, think of your immunocompromised friends out there. And as always, keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.